It's like counting down New Year's.
Yeah.
20,
35,
19.
38, 39. You're looking fresh. You look fresh. You look fresh. Fresh.
Thank you. Oh my God, you're starting off good with the antics.
Well,
Well, I always get cleaned up for the green room, even at gigs,
that's
right?
good, man.
Yeah.
I try. No, I don't. I just basically.
No, you don't.
I'm like, what's a hat that I wear every time?
No, but see, you're the kind of guy that doesn't need to. When you don't, it's actually even cooler.
Ding.
If I don't try, oh, I like that. I need to. I believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen and everything, and aliens and everything, all of you friends, I don't have one.
I
of
know
those
we
yet,
got to.
So I need to.
We got to figure that out.
I want to have like a fleet of them.
Honestly,
so like someone comes over.
This guy is it's too small for me. I need a bigger cup. So,
well, let's have some jumbos made.
Mm-hmm.
That's
or a nice
though.
medium. I like I like a wide coffee cup, honestly. So I think I need to go to the coffee cup store.
I like a narrow. I like to drink my coffee from like a
flute,
a Pilsner glass. Yeah, a flute, an actual flute. The instrument.
Yeah, totally.
You know what? I also want to compliment you on your headphones.
Listen.
They're really impressive.
Hold on. I'm going to go silent because I want to look at what this is. This is the DT 770 Pro, 250 ohm. These are comfy and these are damn good headphones. And I think you have the same ones, right?
Which is crazy that we have the same headphones because there's 500 different kinds we could get. But yeah, these are really cushiony and
let's talk.
You know, we're doing this for the benefit of our listener because if you'll get feedback possibly if you just let things come out of the speakers.
Oh no, we get feedback no matter what. So
anyway,
no, I love this. I'm loving it. Thank you, Keith. Actually, but. To talk about
Keith Semple is ranking on us for our headphones.
He said they're very 80s. Hey, guess what? I love the 80s. But I'm going to say, for him as a guitar player, I would highly recommend these headphones. Because I don't know, for you, I'll be wearing these things, and I'll be listening to a mix or something, and the low end will hit with so much space in these headphones that I'm thinking that my speakers are on. And I'll have to check. I don't know if you noticed that, but you can the spatial the space that these headphones give you are really great. So and they're comfy. Yeah. They're super comfy.
Well,
and they look great.
If you're they just de-age you by like 10 years. If you want to, they cover my old elephant ears, which is good.
What's underneath this coffee cup? I can't see it.
Is that a price tag and some lips? It looks like.
I still might return it.
They're like, why is there a chip in this and a denture inside?
Resale value. Oh man.
How are you? You've been playing 2 solo shows a day for like 2 weeks.
Dude, it's crazy. See, this is how it. I don't think about it, but when you have at least one show that's every week, it just adds up. Where you're like, you don't even think about that show because you're like, oh yeah, I do it every week. But then you look at your calendar, you're like, dang, dude, I'm playing like 4 times a week, and you don't think about it because it's just like, oh yeah, Thursday. Like today's Thursday, listener. If it's maybe Tuesday for you, but yeah, like I play at the lounge. I've been doing it every Thursday, and it's so great. It's easy gig for me. It's very close. But just having that in my schedule makes my shows add up. And yeah, I did a little post yesterday because I always tell people, I'm like, yeah, if you follow me and I post my shows, but I realize I mostly post stories, so
right.
And that's my shows, and I'm like, oh, and I see people like Durbin and real professionals like you that actually post your calendar like as a post. And I'm like, I got to do that more because a lot of people will just go and they want to see where are you playing.
They do,
Yeah. So I did that, but then when I wrote it all down, I'm like, dang, dude, that looks like a lot.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Yeah, and I guess it is. I'm happy to be playing, but
it is. I want to ask you when you do your weekly ones, because listener, a lot of times for a solo artist, you're not Yeah, for public gigs, you're not using an agent. We book ourselves for a lot of these. So I like to know because sometimes, you can wheel and deal with venue owners.
Yeah.
So I want to know, for a weekly gig, was that your idea? Did you kind of
it wasn't.
talk them into
it? Wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It was a new place that I got recommended by. You know what? I think I just kind of kept my eye on different places in our area. And I saw this place, and I'd been talking to them for months, maybe even almost a year. Just like, oh yeah, hey, maybe I'll,
just on email or
email mostly. And me and Amy went in there one time, and
that's how
and we're like, talked to yeah, cool. And then, but nothing really happened. And then through, I think, playing other places, some people that would come and see me were like, oh, you gotta like get in there, like, and I think maybe they gave a nudge to someone, and then I finally got a hold of the person that books there, and I did one,
which is usually the cook.
It's the bartender. Yep. Yeah, and it's one of these where like you don't know exactly who you're talking to, right? It's like, hi, this is blah blah blah, and I just kind of go in and I'm like, hi, I talked to someone, and it was me. I'm like, okay, good.
I talked to Steve. They're like, he doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
Stole half the mugs.
Yeah. But I did one, and the guys were really just excited about it. They're like, let's just do every Thursday, and they have big like aspirations for that area. They're like, I want to make this like our own little Nashville, and I'm like, let's do it, dude. Like,
for sure.
So we just, and towards the end of the month, I'm always just like, so what are you guys thinking? Like, and they're like, yeah, let's just keep it going. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
perfect.
It's good. And it really, like, doing all these gigs out in my area, and you know this, I'm sure, but like, I really get, like, I'm really like becoming part of this community, big time.
It really does that.
Where all these people are, I'm like, oh, I know you from this thing. And then like, oh, you go to that gym. And like, I'm like, knowing all these people, it's kind of cool. I'm not just like in my own little corner,
it is cool.
Yeah. So,
and then you reach a point where you can't do anything privately anymore
because we're just too famous,
Nah, well, I mean, it's locally a small town kind of thing. It does get that way, but some towns have different characters and they're kind of cool about it, and others are less cool about it. I mean, there was, for instance, Noelle and I randomly went to the movies like a month ago, and someone sent me a photo of us that never came up and said hi, and it's like it was actually a list of about 10 photos, and it looked
spooky.
Like People magazine. Yeah, they're like, so you're going to the movies,
TMZ.
Like, who is this? Yeah, kind of. I was like,
Break Renard.
It has that like walking in sweats look,
They're like walking into the Minecraft movie. Which was
without paying. Who the hell?
Which was fantastic, by the way. I don't know. For a kids movie, it's so good. So good.
Sweet. Yeah. So you're going to the theater still?
Yeah, we go because the kids. It's a good.
Yeah.
If I can find something that'll occupy them for an hour and a half, I'm like, let's go, let's do it. Like
while you sit there and stoned eat popcorn. And
I wish. Well, like last night we went to an A's game, and
there are still A's games.
Yeah, but it's in Sacramento now. So, but for me, this is kind of crazy. Because we went to the Coliseum. We would normally go there. And we were going last year, and it was so fun. Like, it was like, because there's nobody there. It was like...
I know, sorry, but that makes it fun.
It makes it fun because we're like, it's just an open stadium. And we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. So we're like, oh, we want to go. And so we went last night to, it's the Rivercat Stadium now. They're playing in Sac because the A's...
This is just random. I mean, I'm sorry, temporary though,
it's
right?
It's temporary. I don't even know where they're gonna go. Maybe Las Vegas, like but anyways, we went. That stadium's awesome, and it was packed. Nice. But yeah, it makes for a little late night for the kids and me too, because I'm driving back. So we got in at like midnight or something like that. But yeah, it's like for me, I'm like, dude, this is like going to freaking Harlow's. It's the same. So,
what happened to Harlow's? Harlow's was a gig. venue in Sacramento that holds about, I'd say, 400 or so.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty standard place for Tainted Love and a lot of our peer bands. And it was like, that's where we had a really legendary guy, John Carlson, who booked there and was a musician, but he passed away like 5 years ago. Loved him, but what happened to that place? Are they not?
No, they're still going. And that place has a very special spot with me. That was my very first Tainted Love show, was Harlow's. And it was like, that was so wild for me because it was like, I was living in LA and it was like, okay. And I did my auditions and then they're like, okay, we'll see you January. And I remember it was like January 9th or something like that was the weekend. And it's in Sac and it's this place called Harlow's and we'll stay at the Hilton. I'm like, okay. So like I pile up my Toyota Avalon, I'm like, with MapQuest. This is how long ago.
Yeah. All 6 hours, 7 hours away.
Like with these pieces of paper to like find where I'm going. And it was classic and so I meet John and he was so cool. They gave me this plate because they were so pumped. Because I came in and played that weekend and everyone's like, where's Chi-Chi? And stuff like that. And I'm like, oh God, like who's that? Yeah. But he was so excited, like he gave me this plate that said like, good job stepping up to the plate. I still have it. It's right behind me.
Dude, are you serious? That is amazing.
Yeah, so I always was like, man, that's so cool. So
he had it made before you got there, or how did that work?
They just literally took a white plate and he wrote on it. And he said,
wow, dude, that's amazing.
El Jefe, good job stepping up to the plate. Love heart.
On your first gig?
On my second gig, because it was the first weekend, And so he was all pumped, and I was like, oh, man, that's awesome. So I always looked forward to playing there. I was like, I'd always get there early and hang. And
So listener, John Carlson, I guess, what did he do there? He was this house sound engineer and a musician and booked the bands, I believe.
He did everything. But we definitely riffed on him.
Exactly. I was getting ready to get into it. Yeah, exactly. He would like sing. He's a musician, so he'd like remind you of the parts, He'd be like, what are you guys doing? The intro to that? He's very excited, He's like, the intro to Purple Rain has like F sharp 7 minus, and he's got that face, and he has like a slight lisp, so he's like, it's seriously like off the part. It's fucking awesome. It's like and it comes around again. It's like back. I'm probably exaggerating a little.
And so the stage would be quiet. And all of a sudden, you would hear this big synth go, and you look over, and he's like, and he's like laughing, and he's like, E major 7.
Yeah. I love him, man. What an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's up, John? Wherever you are.
Yeah, I know, man. So yeah, love Harlow's. I mean, I would put Harlow's in my top. I know we said we weren't doing any top 5s. I'm like, guess what? We are doing top 5. No,
it's turning into it as of right.
I would put it up there though. It was one of my favorites, and the sound was always insane because there's subs underneath the stage. So you get this rumble, and people would be like, "What's happening?" But
there's a lot of great memories there because we all played there so often. But that's why I'm wondering what happened to it because none of our bands play there.
None of them. So you don't either. I'm not sure. What happened? I know for TL, we've kind of moved over to playing Ace of Spades.
Right, you kind of outgrew it.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, I think that's probably it. It's just it's a bigger venue, better like the green room.
Oh yeah.
There's actually like a green room, even though it's kind of under the stage. But that was always kind of a thing with Harlow's, is it was like not guarded, and people would just walk in. You'd be
people. Tanner. Yeah.
You would, like they'd just walk in, or they'd be hovering by the door, and so you had to just constantly kind of sneak out, like okay.
Or you have to have your crew guy, unfortunately, standing there or near the door inside the green room to kind of have some protection, because people just. If there isn't some kind of, all you would have to have really would be, which I think they started to have later, is just a stanchion.
Yeah,
that'd be enough, but they didn't always have that, and
it didn't work.
People would just act like they're looking for the bathroom and be like, "Where am I? Oh, hey, it's the band."
Weird. Look at that big bucket of beers. Yeah,
that's weird. Why is my hand grabbing it?
I've been buying those all night. That's cool that they're just here. Yeah.
And that's the brand I like. Wow.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved Harlow's, but yeah, I guess it's, I don't know. It was kind of like it was Harlow's and it was the Powerhouse. Those were the two, and you'd see those on the
And they're both off the grid for our bands. I think that they both kind of changed their format for booking, what kinds of bands they're booking,
possibly,
and we should thank them really, because a lot of our bands have probably moved to a little bit larger venues, Goldfields in Roseville, where we're playing this year coming up. New Moon on Monday is going to be playing there.
Nice.
That'll be our first one. So that's a great place too. That's a funny green room, and I'll have to film some of that. Have you played there?
Underground, right?
It's like
every time
a whole factory with pipes everywhere.
Every time the
someone
toilet
goes to the bathroom, you hear it run through.
Yeah, it's just like okay, yep.
You're like, that was a number 2. I can tell.
Totally. Yeah, you're just underneath. That was the place where I tried to get Greg to be me.
That was it. Yeah,
and he was like, okay, yeah,
right. I already do that. Yeah. So, speaking of number 2,
okay, here we go.
Which is my absolute favorite subject and always funny to me.
Yeah.
But this occurred to me the other day, and I wanted to ask you. Okay, as a fairly new parent or whatever, you're not new anymore, but what is the word you use with your kids for poop?
The word,
because everybody's got a different one,
and the word we use is
You just use poop. Okay. Yeah. But, because like old Italian families, mine, they used to go, "Hey, do you need the boom boom?" And there's all these different
boom boom.
Yeah, boom boom. But it made me think of like different cultures and different families I've hung out with over the time. So I grew up in Vallejo part of my childhood and all through my life, and you'd have like, black families being like, "You need a doo-doo," So there's like all the different names
ways of going with poop, right?
Yeah. There's like, I heard this one, which I could barely believe, but another family on our block would be like, "Mom told me I had to, before I went outside, I have to go DUKER." I was like,
you're like, what are you going to do to her?
Yeah. What kind of tools does that involve?
DUKER.
Yeah, DUKER's awesome. It's so like Bill and Ted's.
It's very Bill and Ted. Yeah.
What did you ever hear of any others that parents used? Because they're trying not to say poop,
I know,
or whatever. So you're definitely not going to say shit or something like that.
Oh, my shit. I don't know. Maybe my 3-year-old might say that.
Leave me alone. I'm busy taking a crap.
Yeah. There's really no eloquent way of putting it, even as an adult. It's like, excuse me, babe. I've got to go take a huge dump.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta paint the walls. I'll be right back.
I just did an upper decker. Yeah.
Which I think someone did at Harlow's.
Really? They upper deck?
Yeah.
I think someone did every time we were there, because you have to pee, like, you have to go take a peer or a duker. No. And it's always before you're going on stage, and there's that one little bathroom. They're like, "Oh man, I gotta go."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Dude, there's like all kinds of like hazmat suits going on." You're like, "What happened in here?"
Yeah, and that's, more on the bathroom. There is, there's a lot of stuff with Jamie Brown and the bathroom there.
He just would go.
And
he would just leave stage.
Yeah, well, but if he had someone else who could play bass, he would try to get them to play his bass while he went. So he's like tapping his feet really fast around me and kind of like getting my attention. Yeah. We were playing. We were starting Pina Colada song.
Peeing in the colada. Yeah.
Dukering in the, and so he was like, "Bro, I gotta piss so bad." So I don't know if I told you this before, but I'm like, "All right." And I didn't know, I had never played the bass on that song before.
Right.
So he's literally showing me the bass line. And I can kind of see what's going on, but he has like big meat hook hands, and it's all happening in the dark.
So many big watches.
Yeah. Big old Canadian hockey hands. So he puts his bass on me. I'm like an 8-year-old kid, basically. He kind of like reaches around me like a bear, puts his bass on me, and then reaches around me and puts his hand on the bass as if they're my arms, I have like Popeye arms and like an olive oil body, and he like plays the bass in front of me like, here it is, bro, and he's dancing around having to pee during like, hurry up, you got it. Luckily, the bass line never changes in that song. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, right.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
boom.
He gives you a little squeeze on the cheek. You can do it, buddy. I gotta go.
Yeah. He like pulls my cowlick, you know. So he, so he literally like makes it back before the end of the song, and I'm like running away from him because I want to finish. I don't want him to like show me up on the song, you know. Because he won't keep this line that simple ever. But so I kind of ran away from him, which became part of the show, and then he just like laughs and he has to stand there awkwardly. Yeah. And then I just finished the song, which I think Greg was singing, by the way.
Yeah, nice.
Classic, dude.
Yeah. I know, having to pee when you play is always fun.
Yeah, I want to know what people do. Actually, I'd like to ask some musician listeners, if you have to go pee or poo
or DUKER
during a show, which I had an absolute explosion emergency at the place at the Reno Tahoe border, Crystal Bay.
Yes.
And I had to run down to the bathrooms down there during the show. And luckily I'm a singer, and there's multiple singers on some of these gigs, so I could get away with it, frankly. Yeah. And I don't know what I would have done if I was Trey.
Dude,
I think you just make while you're sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to know what people do if they're having kind of a bathroom emergency while playing.
I know.
I guess you just got to set your instrument down and go if it's that
bad. I've had some,
but I never see it happen
that have been so painful, bad, where you're just like, no, that I've had to during an encore, be like, look at the song and be like, guys, can we do this song first so that I can run? And one time...
Oh, one that you kind of don't have to be on.
So, like, you guys do a little drum thing or something.
Right.
We were in Tahoe. We always do this thing. It's around 4th of July. I think it's at Martis Camp or something like that.
Oh, I love that
gig. And that's the one where you get all the seasons in one show. So it's like, it starts as...
It's like 1,000,000 degrees when you get there.
1,000,000 degrees, right? The sun is just, right in your eyes.
This is Tahoe.
This is in Tahoe, and
area,
it's a beautiful spot, right at a lodge, outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the sun starts to go down, and then sometimes, if you're lucky, there's a big thunderstorm too, so that happens. So then the sun goes down, and it goes from about 90 degrees to like 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And then, so you're like, oh my God, your hands start to freeze, and the mosquitoes start coming out too, so they start eating your arms. So then it's a great gig.
It is.
No, it really is a great gig. And so, but then on top of that, there was one time where I had to pee so bad, and I'm like dying, and let's do an encore. And they're like, they want to do overtime.
An hour,
that always happens at that one. And I was like, guys, dude, I have to run. And the bathroom there, you have to run all the way into the building, not up the stairs, but into the lodge. So it's a good, 5 minutes to get there.
Somebody's having like tapioca looking up at you. Aren't you in the band?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some guy in like a fleece that works there, he's like, whoop.
Yeah.
His collarbone.
Hey, when you got a DUKER. I get it.
He's doing that DUKER dash. Yeah.
DUKER dance, yeah.
So, but Tainted Love, I was like, let's play Tainted Love, because that's really... the real original recording is keyboards. It's not. There's no guitar, and so Trey's just sitting there. Though I run, and he's just sitting there waiting for me. He's like, "Where's guitar? Where's the guitar?"
Just to get to
he's like, we can't do it without guitar, and I'm like, there's no guitar on this song.
The crowd is like rioting.
I think he was just kind of. I don't know if they started it, but he definitely. gave it to
Delayed
me
it.
for being gone. He's like, we were missing the guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I was gonna die. But so that, I mean,
he probably resents you because he can't just run and do
right.
that.
And you got
and the only way you can do it, I think, generally, is if you have. It's what's nice about having, let's say, a keyboard player as well.
Yeah.
Is you can kind of do interlude type of things in a real bad emergency. And if you have like a good instrumentalist who can kind of lay something interesting down, and a loudmouth like me who can fill up space.
That's right.
And talk to people, and because I could probably use the entire overtime talking.
Totally. And dude, talking is huge. That's one thing
which I love doing.
Like when I do shows with Gwen, if something goes wrong, we have talkback guy.
Yeah.
And he's got and he talks to all of us. And so if something's going on, we have an issue, he'll be like, Gwen, talk. And she'll just be like, boop, like she's ready to talk.
She's good at it. And
she's like,
I love that.
She's like, so this song, blah, 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 like, and then it's like, and then they'll be like, okay, and we're ready. You know?
See, that's what I would have, in something that size as well.
Yeah.
I guess, most do, but different performers are better at that than others. And it's something I enjoy a lot. But I also remember that Doug Carlson, a different Carlson, and one of our godfathers of the cover band, probably godfather. He calls it God Mike.
The God Mike, that's right. And sorry to cut you off. I always do that. I was doing my investigative work, making sure that Doug
on the snot,
the snot guy, double checking, because we got a little hot tip. Thank you, Clay. We're all on this case, by the way. This is an open case still. And
we're talking about the case of who has been sending the notes to Green Room saying your nose and throat noises are distracting.
The serial snort activist.
Clay said it might be Doug Carlson because of the flowery language.
That's right. And I'm like, my God, and what a perfect candidate. But I'm like, my heart hurt a little bit. I'm like, I don't think Doug would say that.
No way.
No way. But he could be in the 415 zone because he is a San Franciscan. But I know it wasn't him because I looked him up, and what I was going to say is, in my phone I have Doug, the Godfather. That's nice. That's what I have him saved as.
I like that. Yeah, that's proper.
Yeah.
No, number one, I'm not even sure he's a regular listener. He's kind of in his own world. He lives in Nashville now.
Oh my God, your voice just went crazy.
Doing well.
Bro. I'm gonna write
it. I'm gonna put in my phone, Jeff, not bitter at all, Sabru.
I'm gonna actually send our snort buddy a message and say, please check this at let me see what the timestamp is.
Yeah, the timestamp. My partner in crime is being absolutely disgusting. He just dukered from his nose. Yeah. So
sorry.
Yeah. But no way. It's not a Doug move.
It's not Doug.
He's really not that kind of cat.
No.
He's not petty at all, like that kind of thing. Not that you're petty, listener.
Yeah, right.
It's
right.
important for you to enjoy the show.
This is very.
We're baffled.
Entertaining, and I love the detail.
And we actually haven't heard from you in a couple days.
Yeah, well,
so
he hasn't
concerned.
heard from Mr. Snort Factory, so I've been, actually, listener, this is actually not Jeff. I got a stunt double. No. I brought in.
I saw the ad on Craigslist. It's like must have clear nasal cavity.
Need a new nose.
Yeah, must have septum intact or whatever.
Oh, dude, no, I'm not kidding. I've been hitting the saline like before we do these because I'm like I'm.
You're like caught in the bathroom. What are you doing in there? It's about the nose thing. Sure, come on. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
That was my saline sound. I don't know if it's accurate.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bong sound.
Hey, I mean, honestly, all these, even though this is baffling and it is entertaining, it is helping the podcast. So thank you, listener. It's things like that.
I need to come up with my own body noise just to so I can carry
like
my weight in this thing.
Remember those? Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, the Weird Al "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" solo. Did you ever hear his "Girls Just Want to Have Lunch"?
Oh, nice.
Which is brilliant, by the way. And
right.
He does the solo, but it's all arm farts. Have you heard that?
I haven't. I gotta check that out.
Just think about this concept. He redid the solo, which is kind of a really short notes keyboard solo in the original.
Right.
And he does it all with, but they're tuned.
Amazing.
I don't know how he did it. I guess he sampled one and then just plays it. But
that is amazing.
It's so
I don't know
good.
if we'll be able to hear this. Can you hear that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get to it. Let's see this.
Yeah, get to the middle where the solo is.
Right.
Don't ask them to dinner or breakfast or brunch cup.
Just like little farts. Like,
oh, so he's all. I forgot that he also has the the keyboard doing it as well.
But there are. It sounds like little baby arm farts going on. That's nice.
Yeah. Or it could be mouth.
It could be.
That dude. I want to take this opportunity to say, I think he's even on tour, and I've never seen him live. But I would list him as really high up on an artist I'd like to see before he quits touring.
That's right.
I think he's really important to the whole landscape of music forever and ever. Amen.
I agree.
He just makes you consider all of songwriting and just being a posturing artist a little bit differently. He kind of makes you double take on it. And he's genuinely funny. The lyrics of that song. He has this. I recommend any listener look up a song of his which was never released. That's only like 25 seconds long. It's called Toast.
We've talked about this, I think, right?
Oh God! When the caveman came down from the dregs. It's just like nothing but like hands beating on a table, and it's so
amazing.
Good.
I love it. He was a huge part of me growing up. Like it was just as
80s and 90s.
Yeah, just as popular as anything else in my house. It was Weird Al for sure. Definitely huge.
His movie career did not take off for some reason.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, it's so funny. I have so listener, we're attempting something I don't think we've ever done. We're gonna do a double header podcast this week, right? We're gonna shoot for tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think we've done 2 in a row days of recording together. Right. We've done 2 in a week.
2 in a week we've done. Yeah. Honestly, I could do this every single day. You know, it's just schedules and stuff. But I laugh at because how I make my notes, besides covering my whole studio in Post-it notes, which I'm out of space, so I don't do that anymore. But when I get an idea,
one Post-it note says like clean up Post-it notes.
Get more Post-it notes.
Organize. Yeah, get a bigger house for more.
Post-it notes.
Post-it.
That's like the jorts.
Yeah.
We'd be stupid not to. That was good.
There's a meme going around about jorts.
Oh,
that's
jean shorts.
I think the Lonely Island guys. Damn.
So that's A++. But so what I do is I have my email in a text thread to myself, and I send myself notes. Mostly my notes are about the podcast. I occasionally, if I think of a song that I want to add to my set, if I hear something, I go, and I send it. Or if I also send my own mixes of songs, so that
me too, all the above, man.
It's just in my little spot. But it's funny because sometimes I'll have an idea that I think is good, and I'll either voice it or I'll text it real fast, and I know it spells it wrong, but at the same time I go, I'm gonna know. I'll know. Yeah. So, but I have no clue on this one because I remember doing it, but it says this is what it says. The guano eye scandal. What the hell is that?
I love it.
Guano
I love it.
Eye scandal. I'm like,
well, what does the word guano remind you of?
I don't know.
It doesn't remind you of Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, guano.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like everybody's.
Yeah, guano.
What's up with the guano? It's getting hot in these rhinos. God
these
damn.
rhinos.
I love them.
So are you a Ace Ventura 1 or Ace Ventura 2 guy?
You know,
because that's 2.
Yeah, it is. Thank you very much, sir. I love them both. It's really hard. I just can't choose. I mean,
right.
I love them both.
Yeah.
I love Jim Carrey, pretty much everything he ever did. I like his serious roles. I like everything. But yeah, my sisters and I, the second one is more related to watching with my sisters.
Nice.
You know, when he gets stabbed in both legs at the same time by spears. He's going, ah, ah, ah. Yeah. Oh my God. So
that is
amazing.
so good. White Devil.
Yeah, I think I will be lame and say number 1 because any sequel inherently is aware of itself by then, and that's fine. They delivered,
right.
But there's some kind of just total free innocence to a first of anything that's just like can never be replaced.
Yeah,
and it's just like. I like in the first one how you can see, maybe it's in the second one too, but I remember this, that Courtney Cox, you see her laughing in the first one. Like, just they couldn't get a take with her not laughing. So he would be like, "What are you gonna do about it, fatty?" Or cry, you know, "You're gonna cry about it, fatty?" And you see her trying to go like, "What is wrong with you?"
Amazing.
But she's laughing.
It's so good. Or like there's that one scene, and this is not even a big one, but I just think it's funny, where it's a serious scene, and he just goes, "What do you feed your dog?"
Yeah.
And she's
it's
like,
just, it's the way he says it too, because someone else might say that line and it's not, you know, a meal.
He's just like, he's just very unhappy. Like, they're all serious, and he's just like starts dissing on her way of treating her
animal
dog.
care. Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? Oh, dude.
So good.
Yeah. One quick question for you, because this is kind of interesting. What's the latest song you've added to your set list?
As a solo?
Do you know it?
Well, I don't know off, but I can tell you that whenever we add songs, first of all, I do send myself those messages all the time. So actually, I do know.
Is it the Guano Eye Scandal? Because I just recently added that one, apparently.
Oh, no, it's not that. I added that a long time ago. Yeah. And then I added Toast. No, I added "Gimme the Night" by George Benson.
Good one.
That was the latest because Neon started doing it. Yeah, it's just a smooth jam, and it's got enough kind of good voicings going on in the guitar. And you can kind of roll with that. That's one of those songs that each of the sections is really well written, and they're all kind of sophisticated a bit in their own way, meaning verse, pre-chorus, bridge, and chorus.
Good one.
So the only thing it's hard to do is like go, "Ah, tonight, give me the night," you know, like do all the backs and the leads. I leave those out.
Yeah.
But, so do you actually know what your latest ad is?
I do, because I recently just added it, and I'm looking at it right here. Yeah. I added Fastball by The Way.
Dude, that's been one of mine since the very beginning. How funny! But I bet we do it way different.
I just do.
So that's cool.
I just play the chords. Yeah. Do
it kind of straight ahead. I do it kind of like almost Latin.
Ooh, yeah, that would work totally.
Yeah. So
yeah, totally.
But no, kind of fast. It's like
that would make sense.
Kind of a thing like that. Yeah, it's really cool. And you know what I noticed, though, maybe you want it this way, but I like to see what peers and other solo performers do.
Yeah.
Not to take them, but it's just really kind of interesting. But you don't list your song list.
I do when people
your
ask
solo
for
song
it.
List.
I do when they ask for it, but it is one of these things where I'm like, damn, I don't really have a master list. I just kind of like, I have a Dropbox with all my lyrics, and I'm like, well, that's a pretty good idea. So I have made a list of that. But then there's a bunch of songs that I'm just playing off the top of my head too. I really need to do a professional list though, because people do appreciate that.
It helps. Yeah, it can get you work. You know, I have a list on mine, braymusic.com/acoustic.
Hey.
But yeah, it's like the problem is though for me is sometimes I will chart a song that I am turned on by one particular week. Oh, you know what? I heard this Drake song I like, and it's easy, so I'm just gonna do it. But then I'll put it in my list, and 2 years later, someone will ask for it. And I forgot how it goes entirely. It doesn't even matter if I look at the chords or anything. I don't remember the song.
Exactly.
So I have like 1,500 charts, and maybe, you know, frankly, 300 of them I may not even remember how it goes.
Yeah, I have a Deftones song in my list that when I started, I was like, this is a cool song. And I did play it once, and it was cool, but then I'm like, never played it again, so I wouldn't remember it now.
Right.
And also, like, someone was like, you should do, like, hip-hop stuff, and I was like, it's not really my thing, but okay. And so, like, I made, like, a blues version of a Nothing But a G thing. You know, 1, 2, 3, but I'm doing it kind of Johnny Cash style.
Nice.
But I did it, and it didn't.
Nothing but a G thing, baby.
No one really reacted, though. And so I was like, whatever. So then I just never did it.
Do you know the raps well enough
I do, because that was, it was like Weird Al and Snoop Dogg was in my house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do know the raps. But it was funny because it was one of those things where I did do that version, and I'm looking around, I'm like, come on, guys, like, this is the thing. But I think I masked it so well with, like, blues. You know, like with blues acoustic, people are like, I don't know what you're singing right now.
What this is,
So, I don't know.
And also I think one chance isn't always enough for something.
True.
Because a different group of people might go crazy for it.
Yeah.
You know?
I did the same. I used to play a Muse song a lot. It was really hard, I thought, on acoustic. You guys do it. It's what is the one? Down, 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 down.
Oh, yeah. Starlight, I think.
Yeah,
I
would do.
What a great song!
Beautiful, but it was always tricky because I'm like, dang, what is that bridge? And the chords are changing, and the vocals are really hard. And I would do it when I first started out doing a solo. I'd do it a lot, and it didn't really go over well. But occasionally, someone would come up and be like, "I love that song," you know. So it was worth it. But the kind of like the risk to reward wasn't worth it because there was a chance I would chowder it, you know.
And this is the thing about solo acoustic, I think, too, is if you play 3 or 4 hours, you really are less likely to could be more likely to take the risks because you're just going for it. But also, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to make this day harder than it needs to be.
Exactly.
So you go to your normals, and sometimes that gets to be a bit annoying because you want people to come see you and not know what they're going to hear.
I know.
I mean, generally, I think we all do, probably at least 10 songs that you do probably every time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to do too much more than that every time.
Right.
I want them to go, all right, here we go. That's the one I would like to hear.
Yeah.
But I also want them to go, whoa, what is this? Or I haven't heard this one because I don't play every week, but once a month at the Relic in Benicia. And, I get a pretty good amount of people come there. So I actually prepare some songs and some set lists, and I find out what artists people like who come and see me pretty often.
Nice.
And I'll try to, there's a whole goth group of people that come. So
that's fun.
I don't go super deep goth, but I'll go kind of goth adjacent that other people might recognize. I'll play like Echo and the Bunnymen or Susie and the Banshees stuff. And that's always great. And part of I do it number one for love and for that, just to show them I appreciate them. But it does get you tips.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit
totally.
too. And that's kind of like, you're almost like a server, because that's a big part of our pay in the solo world, with the public shows at least.
Yep, totally. Yeah, man. I'm just gonna touch real quick on. Man, I actually have a lot to talk about, but that's good. We can talk about more tomorrow. I had this lady that I played at this thing called Auto Vino in San Carlos last week. I can't remember, Friday maybe. But it's basically a car storage with like these really high end, nice cars, and then they have a outdoor patio where they serve wine and pizza. And it was kind of an older crowd, and I'd never done this before, and so I'm playing, and this lady comes in, and I was kind of like trying to mix it up, like you said, and I'm like, it's kind of older crowd, so I never do Dock on the Bay, but I just did it for a wedding, so I was like, let's keep this one fresh, so I did it. Obviously, that's a very standard song, and this lady comes in, and she's a little bit younger than everyone, and she was like, she's like, yeah, and she starts like feeling it. Woo, I like that. Like she's kind of dancing. And she's a little like out there, like weird. I was like, all right, that's cool. Sure. I'm like, that's kind of a weird song to get all groovy with, but yeah. And so then, and then she did pull the, I want to dance, let's dance. And I'm like, okay, like, it's.
Now you got to do songs that are danceable.
And it's acoustic, so you got to be like, what's kind of vibing, which is, you got to be careful there, right? Like,
or you like end up trying to make a slow song fast and danceable. Yeah. So you're like, wise men say only fools rush in.
Nice.
Because I can't help falling in love again.
Totally. Yeah. So, whatever. I do that. But then I finally take a break, and there's kind of nowhere to sit. And they're like, you can just sit over there. They don't mind. So I end up sitting like at this table with this lady. And she's like, I don't know what her role was there, because it's basically like these members that have really nice cars.
Is it a private?
It's a public. It's public, but kind of private, because these people are like, a lot of them have members. Cars there, and it's. I see. I don't really know exactly what it is, but the lady kind of just stood out like a sore thumb, because it's like these guys that are like in their late 70s, like. Old guys, and then just this lady that's maybe 50-ish, and she just seemed a little like a couple screws loose or something. Like she had really.
Did you end up talking to her directly?
Yes, she had really weird jewelry on that. Like I don't know if it was real or fake. She had like a ring that looked like a ring pop, like that big, like
I see,
and like all this weird stuff. And I was like, what is going on? And she's sitting there, and I don't know who she was with, but it seemed like she was with one of the really old guys. And she starts talking about like, man, I wish I went to Coachella. It's so fun. And she goes, I just like to party. I just want to party. And they're like, okay. And these guys are like not party guys, right? They're like just old
guys. Like, what's Comella?
And then she starts listing all these places where she likes to party. She goes, yeah, Coachella, that's cool to party. You ever been to Tahoe? That's a good place to party. I go there. We go to like what's that? Zephyr Bay. That's a good place to party. And she reaffirms. She goes, I just like to party, man. I like to party. You ever in Vegas? I like to party there. Let's party, man.
You ever done crack in Orinda? Really fun. You
ever just laid on the floor, really messed up? That's a party, man. And she just talked about like 10 different places where she's like, I like to party there. And then you
wow. She keeps looking at you every time. She's like, do you like to party?
Yeah, I like to party. She's like, oh, not party, potty. Like a DUKER.
Yeah, that's my way of saying it. Yeah.
I like the DUKER.
Put up your DUKERs.
Go to Zephyr Cove, do a DUKER.
Drop a deuce in Monterey. That's something I do.
Coachella DUKER. Yeah, that's a good one. It was just so funny, though. I was like, dude, what? Wow. And it was the most unrelatable conversation for these guys. I was just like, where? And you could tell all the wives of all the guys were just looking at her like, who is this lady? Or maybe they're like, oh, there's, what's her name? Like.
Right. Cheryl always talking about partying.
It was pretty hilarious.
I like it. I like it.
So, I think we should probably chop this one short, do a little yarn
let's yarn-ar.
And we'll come back. Coming back hot tomorrow.
No, it's perfect.
I got a yarn-ar. This is coming from myself because I can't remember who this conversation was with. I feel like it was with you, but I don't know when it would have been. Okay, yarn-ar. Musicians leading a band when they're not the singer of the band.
Aha.
So
Yes.
let's say, and there's actually one specific person that brought this up, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, because the first one I would say is Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I love Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Like, I think his music is rad. I do think, I always thought it was weird that he's fronting a band, Kenny Wayne Shepherd band, and then you hear Blue on Black, that hit song. He's not singing that song.
Right.
And he's just going in a very badass way. I love his guitar playing, but
so Carlos Santana.
Good call. Perfect example. Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Right.
I mean, all those hit songs.
Yeah.
Rob Thomas, dude. Like, he's singing.
But he also has other singers. He has, like...
everybody.
I forgot the guy's name, but yeah.
See, I will say, though, I will put Santana... Your
different category.
He did sing, though, right? Oye Como Va? Didn't he sing that?
No, that's not him.
Never him.
Mm-mm. No.
Jesus, Carlos.
No, that's the other guy. That's the other guy I'm talking about.
Okay.
And I'm so sorry that I can't think of that guy's name, but he's been with him for
perfect
years.
example. I love Santana. And then there's another one that got this brought up. There is a little connection. Her name's Grace Bowers, and she's actually used to be neighbors with our good friend the Pells. In where do they live? Not Moraga.
The East Bay,
Moraga-ish, whatever.
Right.
So she used to live. She's really young. She's probably like maybe 20 years old. Really cool look, like blonde, poofy hair. The family during pandemic moved to Nashville, and
I remember this story.
And she blew up, and so I hear about it sometimes. Oh man, check her out, and it's like, and I listen to it and I go, yeah, she looks cool and it sounds great for what it is. But it's like the Grace Bowers band, right? But then you have these amazing singers.
And what does she do again?
She plays guitar, and it's just all respect. It's just wanking. It's just wanking guitar. It's like nothing that. It sounds perfect for what it is, but
it's not necessarily writing melodies.
It's I honestly, what I think it is there was some money there, and they said let's make this happen. She looks rad. You do what you know how to do, which is like the pentatonic wank. You're gonna wank over this, wank it like that, and we're gonna make this sound perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not throwing shade. I'm really not, but I do think it's weird. I keep saying I'm not, but I'm painting the whole picture like I am. I do think it's weird.
I'm not throwing shade. It's already shady. But the thing is,
So Yar Nar. I'm going to say Nar, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's a big Nar because I'm literally narring Santana, which is kind of not cool. But yeah.
I don't know. He gets narred a lot, really. But I'm going to take the high road, which I normally don't. And I'm disgusted at myself. But I'm going to say Yar because I feel like I read this comment recently. I can't remember it, but it was something about like, oh, I know. Because this can turn into another Yar. First I'll say Yarnar. First I'll say Yar. But the reason is the following Yarnar. Okay. So this was someone said, okay, you know how when someone's wearing a band T-shirt, you go up to them and you go, name 3 songs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would say Yarnar wearing a T-shirt of a band that you don't even know 3 songs of.
Right.
So a lot of times they'll sell a Kiss shirt at perfect. Target.
Yeah.
And you'll go like, I don't even know who they are. Or a kid might say that. But the thing is, so this was on a Reddit post, and someone's comment was, and it was the top most liked comment was, it's so hard for musicians to have their songs out there, and they make their money off merch, aside from a Target type thing.
Right.
But they make their money off merch. So them being able to have any kind of income, they're not going to give a shit whether you know their songs anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a Yar just mentioning them, and if maybe it makes you learn about even one song of theirs, that's great.
Yep.
And music is such at a different value point than it once was, that now we're just happy to have it supported in any way. It's so hard to make money with original music now. So yeah, I'm gonna Yar any band that's doing well, and if it's fronted by a flute player, and then it's their name, and they have like Whitney Houston singing, whatever
Right.
it was, So yeah, so I'm kind of in that mindset right now, and plus I have an original album coming out in October.
Hey-o.
How do you like that mention? And you're doing original music, and you just released Ashes, great song. So any way we can get people to hear this, whatever that means, I'm gonna yar it right now. It's such a kind of a weird time right now,
For sure.
and I want to support it. So
Yeah, totally.
That was my cheesy answer.
I think one of the biggest ones that I really blows my mind and I'm so happy about is when I see a Metallica shirt in Target. Cause I'm like,
yeah,
that is the most, they were like the hardcore band that everyone hated, and they have edged their way in to like corporate America. And I think that's awesome. Honestly, for them.
I was gonna make the joke and I couldn't remember the name of the album, but what's the album that really changed?
That was good or bad?
Kind of bad. I mean, it was like when he cut his hair and they kind of like
that one was. I think that was Load.
Yeah, exactly.
Also known as
because
DUKER.
Noel is a Noel is a huge Metallica fan.
Oh really?
My wife.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
God, it's like top 2 bands.
Cool.
Of hers. Aha and Metallica, 2 favorite bands. Yeah, so she would have different opinions about a lot of this stuff, but I mean, she has really strong, angry opinions about everything. But no, she would say something like, "Oh, you ask a kid wearing a Metallica shirt what their favorite Metallica album is, and they'd say Load."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Load was great.
Totally. I mean, honestly, when I was a kid, the biggest Metallica fan. I loved Injustice for All. That was my favorite.
That's her favorite. Yeah, hers too.
But I I begged my mom to go to the record store when there was one and buy me Load the day it came out. I was like, here's $15. Could you please go get this album?
And what did you think of it?
I thought it was rad. I really did.
Oh, nice.
I loved everything they did back then, Dude, I mean, I was maybe 16, maybe 15. And so anything, I just was all about the guitar and I loved it. Yeah. And it was weird because I was Metallica and then equal parts Stevie Ray Vaughan. Those were my 2.
I didn't know that. I would have never guessed that, actually. Dude.
Yeah, so
awesome.
those 2. And then whatever.
I think that Stevie Ray Vaughan is kind of a more mature taste for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just meaning, I don't think you meet a lot of younger kids that are really into him. I guess except guitar players, but still.
Yeah, me and my buddy had a
guitar
guitar teacher that was obsessed with him. And it kind of it got us into it. And we were all in.
Well, we talk about guitar gauge, the strings people use, the size, right? So the standard, I think it would be 10.
Yeah.
10s are a standard for the width and size of the string set for a guitar player. But if you think about him, he's so muscular and aggressive with his playing that we always joked he uses 20s.
Well, he did use 13s.
You know what I mean? He did use 13s, which are it's easier to break, and he does so much bending.
Dude,
I'm always fascinated by that.
And he would break them. He would break. I mean, that's
and he just wills them back.
Yeah, you listen to Stevie, and his bends were just ferocious. The way he would bend that high string, and that hurts my fingers. On 10s, I use 10s
on a 10. Yeah.
He was a stud, dude. Just crazy.
Oh God.
Yeah. But
hell yeah, yar.
Yar for Stevie, nar for whatever else I said. But
load shirts.
So I love, just to go back, I love Kenny Wayne Shepherd. I think he's a great guitar player. Grace Bowers sounds great. Santana's obviously Santana. Honestly, I think with the Grace Bowers and the Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and I'm pretty sure in their story, the name is basically it should be financed by Kenny Wayne Shepherd, financed by Grace Bowers. That's how it happens. It's
But they're also still the names that supposedly are what would bring people to come see the project.
And I do understand that. I do get it, but I don't think I'm not sure that it would happen without probably the parents' money in the beginning. Yeah. And the parents are smarter.
I mean, you could say that about a ton of
Taylor Swift
singers.
Honestly,
exactly.
she had a huge donation. But at the same time, it's like, good on you, dude. Like, because look at her now, and look at Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and look at Grace Bowers. So, like,
I look at Taylor Swift as, and follow me on this, similar to LeBron James.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're both kind of like, I would say, mild in their personalities in terms of they're not like really divisive personality types. Right. And so people have complaints about them being bland, frankly.
Yeah.
But I think both of them I like because you could do a lot worse. You know, a lot of like celebrities that are divisive are kind of destructive. Yeah. And I guess I appreciate occasionally, just someone that's not really a negative presence out there, and they are trying to do generally, I think, good things. Yep. And then they're like billionaires.
Yeah, exactly.
So and they're not like totally destroyed, psyches or whatever by then. So
true that.
Yeah, man, Taylor Swift, I think is like a pretty awesome.
Absolutely, yeah, amazing. All right, well, let's close this chapter, Duker, and then let's just put this one in the Duker. Is that what it was, Duker?
Yeah, Duker. You believe
All right, and we'll check back in soon.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Artie yours.
All right, see ya.